The arrival, the void of space burned with the fires of dying ships. Admiral Vex stood on the bridge of the Council, flagship Morning Star, and watched his fleet fall apart. Another explosion lit up the darkness. That was the cruiser, Hope's Dawn. 300 souls lost in a single flash. "Sir, the Kralin ships are advancing," his officer said. His voice shook with fear. Vex looked at the tactical display. 20 Kralin warships moved through space like hungry wolves. They had already destroyed half his fleet. The Council had no answers for their weapons, no defense against their attacks. "Send a priority message to the Council," Vex ordered. "Tell them we failed. Tell them Earth was our last hope." He did not expect a response. The humans were too far away. The message would take hours to reach them. His fleet had minutes left, maybe less. The Kralin warships fired again. Purple energy beams cut through space. 2 more Council ships exploded into clouds of metal and fire. "Sir!" The communications officer suddenly shouted. "Sir, something just entered the system." Vex turned to look at the screens. His heart sank. More Kralin ships? Was this the end? But the signature was wrong. This ship was massive, larger than anything he had ever seen. It moved differently, too. Where Kralin ships glided smooth and silent, this newcomer pushed through space with raw power. "Identify that vessel," Vex commanded. The officer worked his console. His eyes went wide. "Sir, it's the humans. They're here." On the main screen, the human warship came into view. It was ugly by galactic standards. No smooth curves or elegant design. Instead, the ship looked like a flying fortress made of thick armor plates and heavy guns. Hundreds of weapons covered its surface. It had none of the grace that Council ships valued. It looked like it was built for one purpose only: war. "This is Captain Ross of the Earth warship Titan's Fist." A voice came through the communication system. The words were simple, direct. No fancy speeches. "We got your message. We're here to help." The Kralin fleet changed formation. They turned their attention to this new threat. Vex wanted to warn the humans. He wanted to tell them to run. 20 Kralin warships would tear them apart. "Captain Ross," Vex said quickly, "you face 20 enemy warships. They have superior weapons. You should retreat and call for backup." There was a pause. Then the human captain spoke again. "Admiral, we don't retreat. Just point us at the enemy." The confidence in those words shocked Vex. This was either bravery or madness. The Kralin commander must have thought the same. The alien fleet opened fire. 20 ships released their deadly purple beams at once. Enough firepower to destroy a planet's surface. The energy weapons hit the human ship. Vex expected to see it explode. Instead, the Titan's fist shook from the impact. Armor plates glowed red from the heat. But the ship kept moving forward. It did not slow down. It did not try to dodge. "Impossible," Vex whispered. "No ship can survive that." "All weapons fire," Captain Ross said calmly. The human warship lit up like a star. Missiles launched from every angle. Railguns fired solid metal slugs at incredible speed. Laser cannons and plasma weapons joined the attack. The Titan's fist threw everything it had at the enemy. 3 Kralin ships exploded instantly. 2 more spun out of control, their hulls torn open. The rest scattered in confusion. "What are they made of?" Vex's officer asked, staring at the screens. The human ship took more hits. More armor burned away. But it kept fighting. It kept pushing forward into the enemy formation. The Kralins had never seen anything like it. They had never faced an enemy that refused to die. "All Council ships," Captain Ross's voice came through again. "Fall back and let us work. This won't take long." Vex could only watch as the human warship charged deeper into enemy territory, alone, against 20 enemy vessels. And somehow, Vex believed the humans would win. Asterisk. The battle captain Ross stood on the bridge of the Titan's Fist and watched the enemy scatter. Good. Fear was a weapon too. Damage report, he said. Outer armor at 60%. Lieutenant Kane replied from her station. Hull breaches on decks 7 and 9. Engineering reports power at 85% and holding. Ross nodded. They had taken hits that would have destroyed any council ship. But the Titan's Fist was built different. Humans did not build their warships to look pretty. They built them to survive. Target the ship on our left flank, Ross ordered. Full missile barrage. The weapons officer pressed the controls. 50 missiles launched from the ship's tubes. They screamed through space toward the Kralin vessel. The enemy tried to shoot them down. Their defense systems destroyed 30 missiles. But 20 got through. The explosions ripped through the Kralin ship's hull. It broke apart in a shower of debris. 16 enemy ships remaining, Kane reported. Admiral Vex watched from his flagship. He could not believe what he was seeing. The human ship fought like nothing he had ever witnessed. It did not dance around enemy fire like council ships did. It did not try to outmaneuver the enemy. It simply pushed forward and traded blow for blow. The humans took damage that would cripple his fleet. But they kept fighting. They kept killing. Sir, the Kralins are trying a new formation, Vex's tactical officer said. They're surrounding the human ship. Vex felt his stomach turn. This was a common Kralin tactic. Surround the target. Hit it from all sides at once. No ship could survive that. The Kralin warships moved into position. They formed a sphere around the Titan's Fist. Then they all fired together. The human ship vanished in a ball of purple energy. Explosions covered every surface. Vex gripped his command chair. Surely no one could survive that attack. But when the light faded, the human warship was still there, burning, damaged, but still there. This is insane, Vex whispered. What are they made of? On the Titan's Fist, alarms blared throughout the ship. The bridge lights flickered. Smoke filled the air. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Kane shouted over the noise. We lost weapons array 3 and 5. Armor down to 30%. Can we still fight? Ross asked. Yes, sir. Then we fight. Ross looked at his crew. Every person on the bridge was scared. They knew they might die. But not one of them suggested retreat. That was the human way. You fought until you won, or until you could not fight anymore. All weapons, fire at will, Ross commanded. Target anything that moves. The Titan's Fist became a fortress of death. Even damaged, even surrounded, it kept shooting. Railguns fired metal slugs that punched through enemy armor. Missiles found their targets. The humans had one advantage. The Kralins did not understand. Humans were stubborn. Humans did not know when to quit. Another Kralin ship exploded. Then another. The enemy formation started to break. They had never fought an opponent like this. Their tactics always worked. Surround the enemy. Destroy them with superior numbers. But the humans refused to be destroyed. Sir, the Kralins are withdrawing, Kane said with surprise in her voice. Ross watched the enemy ships pull back. They were afraid. Good. Do not let them escape, Ross ordered. Chase them down. The Titan's Fist turned and pursued the retreating Kralins. Even damaged, even burning, the human warship followed. It fired as it moved. 2 more enemy ships fell. Admiral Vex could only stare. The Kralins were running. The mighty Kralin Empire, terror of the galaxy, was running from a single human ship. Admiral, what should we do? His officer asked. Vex thought for a moment. Then he smiled for the first time in days. Follow the humans, he ordered. Reform the fleet. We're going back into the fight. Hope filled his chest. The humans had shown them something important. You did not need the best ships or the best weapons to win. You needed courage. You needed the will to keep fighting when everything said you should quit. The humans had that will. Now the Council fleet would follow their example. Together, the human warship and the Council ships chased the Kralin fleet. The hunters had become the hunted. Captain Ross allowed himself a small smile. The battle was not over yet. The victory, the Kralin. Commander stood on his bridge and felt something he had never known before. Fear. His name was Drax. He had commanded fleets for 20 years. He had destroyed hundreds of ships. He had conquered 12 systems for the Kralin Empire. Nothing had ever stopped him. Until today. Report, Drax demanded. We lost 8 ships, Commander, his officer said. The human vessel continues to pursue us. The Council ships are following behind it. Drax looked at the tactical display. One human ship had destroyed 8 of his vessels. One ship had broken his entire formation. This should not be possible. All ships, turn and face the enemy, Drax ordered. We outnumber them. We will not run from inferior species. The remaining Kralin warships stopped their retreat. They turned to face the approaching human ship. 12 Kralin vessels against 1 damaged human. Warship and the weak Council fleet. Numbers were still in their favor. Captain Ross saw the enemy. Ships turn around. Good. He was tired of chasing them. They want to make a stand. Lieutenant Kane said. Then we'll give them one, Ross replied. All power to forward weapons. Prepare for full assault. Sir, we're barely holding together, Kane warned. Our armor is almost gone. One more concentrated attack might break us. Ross looked at his crew. They were exhausted, injured, but still ready to fight. Send a message to Admiral Vex, Ross said. Tell him to hang back. This is our fight. Kane hesitated. Sir, we could use their help. I know, but they need to see this. They need to see that you can win even when the odds say you should lose. The message went out. Admiral Vex received it on his bridge. His officers protested. They wanted to help. But Vex understood what the human captain was doing. Hold position, Vex ordered. Let the humans finish this. The Titan's fist accelerated toward the Kralin line. Alone, damaged, but not defeated. Drax watched the human ship approach. It should be running. It should be calling for help. Instead, it charged straight at his fleet like it had nothing to fear. Fire all weapons, Drax commanded. The 12 Kralin ships released everything they had. Purple beams filled space. The human ship disappeared in a storm of energy. On the Titan's fist, the bridge shook violently. Consoles exploded. Fire broke out on the walls. The lights went dark. Emergency power kicked in. Hull breach on deck 3, Kane shouted. We lost the port weapons array. Armor completely gone on the forward section. Ross wiped blood from his face. Piece of shrapnel had cut his forehead. He ignored the pain. Can we still fire? He asked. Kane checked her console. Main railgun still operational. Missile tubes 4 through 8 still working. Then fire. The Titan's fist was dying. Everyone on board knew it. But it fired one last time. The main railgun released a slug of solid metal traveling at a fraction of light speed. It hit the lead Kralin ship and punched straight through. The ship exploded from the inside out. The remaining missiles found their targets. 3 more Kralin ships went up in flames. 8 enemy ships left. Drax could not believe his eyes. The human ship should be dead. It was a floating wreck. But it still fought. All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel, Drax screamed. Destroy it now. But something had changed. The Kralin crews were afraid. They had thrown everything at the humans. They had hit them with enough firepower to destroy a small moon. And still the human ship fought back. What kind of species was this? What kind of warriors refused to die? The answer came from behind the human ship. Admiral Vex could not watch anymore. His people had run from the Kralins for too long. The humans had shown them the way. All ships attack, Vex ordered. For the Council. For our fallen. For humanity. The Council fleet surged forward. 20 ships that had been ready to surrender now charged into battle. They had seen what courage looked like. They had watched the humans fight impossible odds. Now they would do the same. The combined fleet hit the Kralin line. The humans had weakened them. The humans had broken their spirit. Now the Council finished the job. One by one, the Kralin ships fell. Drax tried to rally his fleet, but it was too late. His ships were already running. This time, they did not stop. On the Titan's fist, Captain Ross allowed himself to sit down. His ship was a wreck. They had lost 40 crew members. The ship would need months of repairs, but they had won. Admiral Vex is hailing us, Kane said. Ross activated the communication system. Admiral Vex appeared on the screen. The alien officer looked at Ross with something new in his eyes. Respect. Double quotes, Captain Ross, Vex said slowly. The Council owes humanity a debt we can never repay. You saved us all. Ross shook his head. We just showed you what you already had inside. Courage, the will to fight. Vex smiled. Then humanity has given us something even more valuable than victory. You have given us hope. Across the galaxy, word of the battle spread. The Kralin Empire had been defeated, not by superior weapons, not by better technology. They had been defeated by human spirit, by human refusal to surrender, by human courage in the face of certain death. The galaxy would never forget. The humans had descended into the war zone, and the enemy never stood a chance. The end, asterisk.